On Logic?
I am.
Okay.
You're listening to Thunderheads, a podcast for Thunder fans by Thunder fans.
Welcome to Thunderheads. I'm Brandon Soul, joined by the dark and stormy Jason Lewis.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're so excited.
Woo!
You're so
We
excited.
did it.
Man, the Thunder won a big one after a tough start to the season. 7-9 start, 108-91 win over the Golden State Warriors. Defending champs, 2 of the last 3. Big win. Thunder's biggest rival, Kevin Durant, in there. Gets in Russ's face. So many good moments in this game. So many, so many moments where you felt like the Thunder were going to slip. You never felt completely safe in this game,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you can take it right back to the fourth quarter with like 6 minutes left. Or was it 6 or 4 minutes left when they brought in their bench?
Yeah, it was about 6 minutes left, I think.
And you were like, oh, they gave up. But I kind of, until 30 seconds left, I was still nervous, which was stupid. But still, like, we weren't playing well in the fourth quarter. And it was nerve-wracking. But first of all, I have to say, hands down, the by far best game Russell Westbrook has played this season.
Easy.
Like, kind of what we were talking about with Russ. Come out and play
your game. Play your game.
And everyone else will fall in line. And he did that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand because, you know, maybe some of the chatter about players don't want to play with Russell Westbrook has slowly creeped in his ears a little bit. You know what I mean? So maybe he's like,
right.
Well, I want them to want to play with me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get them involved. I want them to be around me. I want them to enjoy playing with me. But the fact is, if you're going to not play your game, you're just not as effective, man. And so he comes out, he takes 27 shots. He goes 13 for 27, but in the first half, I don't know what his number, you could maybe pull that up in the first half, what he was but 13 for 27 for the game, that doesn't do justice what he did in this game. In the first half in particular, he was incredible. He came on the third quarter, he was a little cold, but 34 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 steals, 6 turnovers. I've said it before. I'll gladly take 6 turnovers from Russell Westbrook if he just plays in his normal aggressive style.
Absolutely. Man, he just was so composed, and he was so like, it's crazy that he was that focused yet so fiery the whole time. He was talking trash. He was getting the crowd fired up. He was pumping up his teammates.
He now has players on his team that have his back.
Yeah.
As far as not
like basketball wise.
Right, basketball wise.
Right.
They can and so it's cool to see him. He's not scared of them. He's not scared and it's nice to have a leader on your team that is not scared of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's played this team in a 7-game series in a conference finals and should have beat them, right?
If
He's not scared of them.
Certain someone, he probably would have.
He's not scared of them. You look at Golden State's numbers. Curry had 24. He was the scary one tonight.
Yeah, he was.
I think. Like he had a couple moments where I mean, I'll be honest. The Thunder got away with a couple defensive possessions where they got lost a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, they held Golden State to 91 points. You got to be happy with that. Klay Thompson, they did an incredible job on him.
Oh, that's maybe the story of the game a little bit is how well they defended Klay Thompson.
Yes. Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala was really never effective.
Draymond Green had 4 points.
Yeah. That's actually
Huge.
maybe bigger.
1 for 6.
That's actually maybe bigger than the Klay Thompson.
They got him 4 fouls and a tech.
So Draymond Green and Klay Thompson have combined 4 for 18 from the field. A combined 3 for 11. You know, so Klay Thompson hit 3 threes. I remember one. You know what I mean? Or maybe one very early on. He had a really deep one at the very beginning of the game. But yeah, it was one of those things that.
But like you said, you did mention they did get away with a lot of lackadaisical defensive possessions. There was a lot of luck involved with like there were shots. Swaggy hit a couple that went in and out. If those had hit, maybe the tide turns a little bit. But
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like they were pretty composed defensively for the entire game.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 5 blocks between Grant, Hustis, and PG. I think so.
That is correct.
Those were huge blocks. The Grant blocks on KD.
2 of them on KD in a minute stretch.
Yeah. And they both ended up in threes on the other end.
One a Paul George 3, another a Carmelo Anthony 3. Carmelo, his numbers 8 for 17, 22 points. Felt like he played well.
That is a huge deal.
It is 5 rebounds, which doesn't. He only had 1 in the first half, so he had 4 in the second half, which there were more rebounds to be had.
Yeah.
But I thought he played a good game. He played that role where it was like, if you need me, I'm here.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's exactly the role Melo should fit on this team, right?
I agree. And Paul George played 40 minutes again. This is almost becoming a broken record.
It's kind of weird.
I wonder if this is going to keep up.
Are they just going to always play him that much?
40 minutes for Paul George, 8 for 19 from the field. Played a lot better in the first half than he did in the second half. Maybe this is something we need to talk about because we've been pumping up the Thunder here in the first part, which rightfully so. They beat the defending champs, 108-91. Big win for them. Maybe a season turning win for them.
Right, and Russell kind of addressed that on the post game. He said, maybe this is a turning point for us. Hopefully, we can string together some more wins after it. And really, you do hope this is kind of their launching point. After that, I mean, they have really struggled up to this point.
Yes,
right. And this is kind of like everyone kind of came together tonight. It's almost in my head. I know it might not even be what they're thinking in the locker room or whatever, but in my head, it's like everybody kind of rallied around Russ. Really interesting because each of them said the exact right things to me in that piece of like, Melo was saying we came here for Russ.
Yeah.
PG was saying, hey, we have to play together. And it's kind of like it's starting to form, right?
Well, it's been one game.
It's been one game.
So maybe let's pump the brakes because
you're right.
Listen, they played a great game. 89.5 defensive rating against
the best offense.
Probably the best offense, right?
Ever?
Well, you could throw Houston in there this year, right? They have a great offense.
Yeah,
you could throw maybe the Cavs in there. I don't know what the Cavs rank as far as offensive rating goes, but I think if, push comes to shove, we're all taking Golden State's offense above everyone else's.
Absolutely.
They
had an off night. You can say
Sure.
they had an off night. They were missing open shots.
Their energy was not as high as the Thunder's energy.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Golden State, but it's real. But that's an advantage that the Thunder have. They come out, they care. That's what we want to see, right?
That's what we've been missing.
We want to see them keep this up throughout the course of an entire game. Now, that being said, all these good things we've said about the team, what they did well tonight, what they did bad tonight, maybe something that we need to talk about. Paul George with the bench.
Yeah.
Hasn't been very good.
It's
I think it's something.
Seems a little broken.
I think that it's something that a lot of people want to see because they want to see Paul George more involved. He's a great player. He's an absolutely great player. They want the ball in his hands as much as possible. Obviously, you don't want to do it while taking the ball out of Russ's hands necessarily.
Right.
So what's another way to get the ball in his hands more often?
That would be it.
With the bench. Well, he's just, he doesn't have that killer instinct that you want with that bench, right?
Yeah.
At least from what we've seen.
Well, it's kind of the, like if you put Melo with the bench, Melo's taking the ball and he's gonna run that unit. PG kind of just stands in the corner. He'll run off some things a couple times, but it seems like mostly him with the bench is Felton dribbling a bunch, and then
not much movement.
Yeah,
and that's not Paul George's fault.
It's not his fault. No.
I think he's more the type. He's more the passive type.
Yeah,
he said it himself before. So he's willing to let those other guys go try to make plays for themselves.
Yeah, and he's a team guy.
Whereas, and I'm not. I don't know if Melo's the answer with that bench. But I know that the bench was playing when Melo was playing with the bench. They were playing better when Melo was playing.
It did feel that way, and
he has more of the alpha personality.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting to me because we've on the podcast we have talked about, hey, let PG run that bench and maybe it'll be better. And now we've seen it a little bit, and maybe it's not better. Maybe that's the thing is.
But at the same time,
I do like that we've tried it.
This isn't something that fans, me, you, everyone else out there, you can't just dog on Billy Donovan about this because you can't say, why are you playing Paul George at the bench? It's not working. I mean, everyone wanted to see this for the most part. Everyone thought that Paul George should be playing with the bench because it makes sense. He can facilitate. He can score.
Right.
He can dribble. It makes sense when you think
He's
about
an
it with that
all
logic.
around basketball player.
Yeah, but then you look at it and you're like, well, maybe Melo should be playing with it. Maybe Russ should be playing with the bench. Russ has been playing the same kind of the same schedule as far as rotation goes for how many years?
A while.
He plays for about 8 to 10 minutes in the first quarter. He comes out and he comes back in about 5 minutes into the second quarter. He plays the rest of the quarter. Same thing second half. It's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
They never mess with his rotation.
Which, if you think about it, Russ is he kind of seems to be a very, he's got his routines, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if maybe he doesn't want to mess with that. Maybe Billy is aware of that and wants to keep it in a certain format for him.
Could be.
And I mean, I don't know, because you look at it this year, he's obviously had a lot of differences thrown in his game, but
You talking about Russ?
yeah,
As far
for
as
sure.
differences go, yeah.
Because I mean, he's obviously trying to get others involved, but like maybe you try to keep his rotation the same so that he has something to be like, okay, well, I know how this works. This is how my career has gone. Is
Yeah, maybe.
this rotation?
But
I kind of like him with the bench sometimes without Felton.
he's been there, done that, right?
Yeah,
He's
because
seen
that like whenever he gets that, he's like, oh, I don't have to think anymore. I just go be Russ.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I think that's kind of the argument for that is because you're like, well, he's been there, done that. You know that Russ can go score by himself,
But
if
then
he needs to. But you don't want him to waste his energy.
So that's kind of what I was going to bring up. It's like, do you want PG and Melo to be out there with Felton? Is that what you want?
What do you mean? You
Like,
mean like so
if-
once Russ is playing with
Russ
the bench,
played
and
with
then
the
you-
bench, you bring him out to rest, and now you have the starters plus Felton. I don't dislike that necessarily,
right?
but I also don't love it. It's
Yeah,
kind of
no.
just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I understand that for sure. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we're hanging on this, but when you look at the bench, you got 12 total points from the bench tonight.
Mostly Felton.
Two from Patterson. Yeah, no, you're right. 2 from Patterson, 2 from Hustis, 2 from Grant, 6 from Felton. Although Hustis played the most minutes of anyone on the bench tonight. He played 18 minutes.
That is kind of crazy. Isn't
it?
that crazy?
Isn't that weird? Grant played 14. I would like to know the logic behind that. The thinking behind that.
How do you explain that?
I'm not sure. I mean, Hustis played an all right game.
Defensively, he was
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah,
He did a really good job.
sure.
Offensively, at times, it was like, oh, this is awkward.
Yeah, no, he's not a
Like,
good offensive player.
I wish this wasn't happening.
He is not a
kinda
good
thing.
offensive player. And, Grant had a couple unfortunate moments where he drove to the basket
yeah.
and then it felt like he got hammered. Especially,
Yeah,
so-
there were some obvious fouls.
So
that
Grant
didn't get
plays
called,
14
which
minutes.
is fine.
Right.
mean,
And
that's-
Grant plays 14 minutes, and within those 14 minutes, he blocks KD twice. Huge momentum plays. Huge. Like, there literally could not be a more momentous play.
Was it the first one that he like swatted KD and also kept it somehow while falling out of bounds, threw it back in, and PG went down for a 3? I think that was how it worked. Something like that.
I don't know what it was, but it was amazing.
I was very
It
excited.
was incredible. So you go down through the bench, and I think that it's a cause for concern a little bit. Abrinas could not stay on the floor. He played 6 total minutes.
Man.
Didn't play in the second half until the very end of the
Got a
game.
question for you.
Okay.
Are you concerned about Alex Abrinas'
Yeah. No, I am.
play?
I totally am. I think that
He can't hit shots from outside. Yes, he has, and we've commended him for this so far.
Mm-hmm.
He has developed other parts of his games where he can make floaters. He's kind of gone off the dribble a couple times.
Right.
He's looked impressive on defense, which is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't expect any of those things out of him, but I do still expect him to hit threes, which he's not doing.
Yeah, he's not.
And it's
he didn't get any opportunities tonight. He was 0 for 1 from the field. One of them was just one that one shot was one that he threw up driving to the lane that he thought he was getting fouled on, and it was horrible.
The one where he just
Yeah,
like
fastballed it off the backboard.
massive.
So I
super
think
balled it.
I think with Abrinas, I think tonight he only played 6 minutes. I don't think this is anything to expect going forward. I think tonight the Thunder saw the position they were in. They saw that they were up big. They saw that they were playing well. They saw that they were beating the defending champs. They understood how big of a game this is, right?
Which is a huge deal.
Huge game. You're 7-9, big game. I think that Thunder were treating this like a playoff game. You
and
saw
they have
that.
to.
You saw that at the end of the game when they're leaving their starting lineup out there and the
Yeah,
Warriors
while
have
they
the
have
end
the
of the
bench.
bench.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe in the next matchup, as long as the Thunder have had it going a little bit, I shouldn't say back on their winning ways. They're on to some winning ways.
Hopefully they've got it figured out a little bit better.
Yeah. Then I think you put Abrinas through a little bit of that adversity.
Right.
You try to get him some of that experience.
Because tonight's probably not that night.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you need
And
that
also,
win so bad.
I'm gonna. I mean, this is probably not surprising to most people, but I'm gonna give it up to Dre tonight. He played a great game. He played a really solid game. Like, it wasn't spectacular, I guess, but I mean, he's 3 for 5. He got 6 points, mostly off of like hustle plays, which is what you want from him, right? Like, He hustled on defense. He played great defensively.
Yeah.
He got some shitty foul calls on him here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he made cuts when he needed to make cuts. He kind of was involved offensively more than you've seen lately. And
I agree.
It was nice. It was nice to see him not be a complete zero on
He didn't back
offense.
down. He's plus 14 on the game. 6 points, 2 rebounds, which you'd like to see come up a little bit. But
For sure, yeah.
4 assists.
Right?
You'll take that.
That's crazy.
You will take that. He had a couple nice plays where, God, it was one play. I think Russ was driving on a fast break. He made a really nice pass to Robertson, who went up. Shot wasn't there. There was a shot blocker there, and he made a really nice pass to Adams for the finish.
That was beautiful.
It's a great play. He made it with confidence, and that's what you want to see.
And it's almost
out of
something you
Robertson.
don't expect out of him is like the extra pass out of Robertson. Like
Right.
that's something I've never like, Dre's got this extra pass just waiting.
I do think this is a worry though, man. You go down the minutes for the starters. Carmelo Anthony 36, Paul George 40, Adams 37, Westbrook 37, Robertson 32. That screams you don't trust your bench.
No,
Patrick,
absolutely
Patrick Patterson, who in his very limited minutes, 6 minutes, I thought he was okay.
had a pretty good game.
He was okay.
Would you even say this is his best game this season?
No,
or not
I wouldn't
quite?
say that. I wouldn't say that. I mean, he only played 6 minutes, so I can't say that. I can't
Yeah.
say that. He had a game that he hit 2 threes, so I'll take that one. I'll take that one. But
There's that one, and then he played for like 14 minutes once. and-
yeah, no, yeah. So, but honestly, those minutes from the starters, that worries me going forward. I think that you are going to see this Thunder team. They're going to try everything they can to beef up this bench. They're looking at a trade, and that's what I've referenced in the past. Who can you trade?
It's tough, man.
Who can you trade? I mean, you can trade Ferguson, I guess. I don't think the Thunder want to. You hear about it all the time from
You've heard a lot of stuff about how much they like Ferguson.
right about how
and
much they love him. I don't see them trading Abrinas because I think that they like Abrinas.
I think Abrinas is going to be very good.
Who does
You don't
that
really want to
leave?
get him around.
I mean, maybe
it-
Grant, but he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, which takes value away from him.
Right.
So maybe Robertson.
I mean, yeah. You keep coming back to this for sure.
do.
And as much as I hate this, because obviously I'm a huge fan of Robertson.
Sure. And
Love
that's
him.
fair.
And but I understand your point. Like I get it. He has the most tradable contract on the team for sure.
And,
He-
and
he's
that's,
got-
those are the contracts, by the way,
But he's
that Presti has been able to trade lately. You look
Yeah.
at Oladipo, who had 4 years left on his deal.
Sabonis.
Who obviously in his rookie scale
rookie
contract.
deal. Yeah. But so the thing with Robertson to me is he's a specialty guy, right? Most teams are trying to find. If you look at like the Timberwolves, they have no one that plays defense except for Taj Gibson. Please, God, give us a
Telling
defensive
us they're giving us
specialty.
Wiggins.
I would rather not, but maybe.
That would be
Yeah,
a
actually,
little
we-
wild.
it
We
would be
just
crazy.
we just have so many players that do the same things on the
You guys all just want to stand here with the ball?
yeah. Who wants the ball? Whoever raises your hand first, you get the ball.
That's our offense.
That's how it works. Yeah, no.
But no, I mean there are teams out there that need a defensive specialist. Exactly what Robertson is. Clearly, he cannot play offense
yeah,
except for certain special times.
yeah. No, he can't play offense. He can play offense because he has other good offensive players on his team.
Yeah,
That's it.
and he can kind of cut.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
Ish.
and he can come up with a couple, garbage plays, garbage points, offensive rebounds.
Like that one where he just goes.
Oh my god,
and
that's
just
amazing.
Somehow the ball sucked into the rim. I don't.
Hey, the Thunder had it tonight. They had the basketball gods on their side a little bit. You know,
They really did.
They had some balls bounce their way. They had some tough shots go in.
Really, when you see the Warriors miss these like crazy shots that you're like, well, that's going in.
You know-
how many times tonight did we go? Well, that's bucket.
You're right to a certain extent, but also you also can't expect the Warriors to make all of those shots. And with that being said, I don't think there were that many moments where it felt like the
I
Thunder
maybe
defense broke
exaggerated
down.
in my head, maybe.
But no, I think you're right. There were a few moments, and there always are going to be. But maybe five.
Yeah.
Maybe five.
that sounds about right.
Maybe 5 times.
5 to 7.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna move it to 7.
you know what the thing is when you leave Curry open though, or Thompson.
When they're wide open and you're like, maybe they'll pull a Dre
Isn't
and
it
miss,
incredible?
miss this.
Like
and
if
they
you-
totally don't.
Like if you did a draft across the NBA for players to make threes in other people's faces,
Those two are the first and second picks.
So it comes down to Curry, Thompson,
Harden.
Durant.
Yeah. And 3 of those people are on the same fucking team.
Right.
That son of a bitch.
What a loser that guy. We should talk about Kevin Durant.
Okay.
With his
The
antics,
the chippiness.
getting in Russ's face.
But how well did Russ handle it?
So well.
Incredibly.
Proud of him. I'm very proud of him.
Have you ever loved Russell Westbrook more than you did tonight?
No. And you know what? He needed to do this tonight. He needed to have a coming out party tonight.
Yeah.
He needed to do this on national TV, play his game, and he did it.
when
He looked
this-
like Russell Westbrook.
When this summer, the Warriors come, like their staff comes out and says, "Oh, we actually," or was that in the book that what's his face wrote? There was a book that came out. I'm blanking right now. But anyways, he kind of
you talk about the Steph Curry book. Wait,
no, it's the dude that was our consultant. He's a huge basketball icon from forever. Anyways,
I'm so
sounding
lost.
like a dumbass, but he basically was talking about how Russ was easy to guard for the Warriors.
Okay,
Right.
and
And I think it's amazing that Russell came out tonight and kind of proved that wrong.
yeah,
They could not guard him
right.
at all.
No, he beat guys off the dribble consistently. He was hitting his jumper, especially in the first half, man. Especially in the first half. Like that first half he played just set the tone for this team.
Yeah.
And that's one you can say that because then you look at the rest of the season prior to this and you say, well, they've set the tone nicely all season and they've blown it.
And then they
Man,
said,
what?
no.
Man, they kept that intensity up. And one thing I like about it, so one thing Chauncey Billups said at halftime is he said something about how I don't like this trend that the Thunder are going. They're playing a lot of ISO ball.
Right.
Such and such amount of possessions of such and such amount of possessions were ISO ball.
Well,
know?
he also couldn't say those numbers.
Sure.
Which is
like
funny.
like I can't. That's why I can't remember them
Yeah,
because he
because
couldn't
he
say
was
them
like
properly.
11, 11, 11.
Right. So he was pointing that out. Paul Pierce made a really good point after the game, I thought. He said, in the playoffs, plays don't matter. This team is built for the playoffs. Plays don't matter. You can't execute plays in the playoffs. You need guys that can put the ball in the basket. And the
Man.
Thunder have that. The Thunder have that.
It still amazes me how much I'm agreeing with. Like, we talked about this a
Yeah.
little bit at halftime. How much when Paul Pierce says
PP?
things,
You
I'm
can call him
like,
PP.
yeah, PP. I agree.
They should call him PP on the national TV.
It just gets called PP.
ESPN, biggest sports station. They call him PP. That'd be so good.
But for real, though, like, that's a great point. In the playoffs,
Yeah, yeah.
you
so-
just got to score.
And even to like pull that back a little bit, the Thunder do need more ball movement generally. They definitely do, but it's about keeping the same intensity. It's
Yeah.
not being lax with your execution. It's not dumping it down to Melo in the post.
And just saying, you go ahead.
Yeah,
And
shoot
Russ
it.
just standing off. Which, speaking of lackadaisicalness, Russ on defense tonight really impressed me. He actually closed out on people. He actually gave effort most of the time tonight.
Yeah.
And that's something that's the one thing I think that bothers me about Russell Westbrook is that he just typically watches people shoot threes there are his guys. He's like, "Oh, I'm guarding that guy, but
Right.
I'm going to stand 20 feet back here and see if it goes in." Oh shit, it did.
Yeah. Oops.
Well, we'll try next time.
Yeah. No, it is nice to see him put in that effort. I think tonight was big for him.
Yeah.
The Warriors had beaten the Thunder, I think, 7 straight times.
Yes.
If you date it back to if you
Sure
count
have.
playoffs, so 7 straight times, and it was time. It was time. He had a team that had his back this time, and he wanted to win.
Agreed.
All right, I have a little game here that I want us to play
Yeah.
before we get to Twitter questions and any YouTube questions if people want to ask them. Okay. You got a music bed for us here?
I can try.
There's no try. There is only do or do
Ooh,
not.
thanks, Yoda.
Yeah, no problem.
Look at
Okay.
me.
What?
I did it.
All right, here we go. This game has no name. It is called Which is More Worrisome in the Long Run. This has a
That's a great name.
very negative, kind of like cloud over it. That's not what it's meant to be, but it is meant to just kind of dissect any issues the Thunder might have. So right now, which is more worrisome in the long run? Defense down the stretch or the lack of ball movement and execution offensively?
Those are both very worrisome things.
Sure, that's why they're on this game.
I'm going to actually go with, which I think is probably the wrong answer technically, but I'm going to say the lack of ball movement in general.
Yeah.
Like, which we obviously we've talked about. We have 3 ISO players on this team, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
We're first in ISO, like you've said before, and we're what, like 27th in success from that?
Yeah, I think it was like 24th before this game.
It's not good.
Right.
But I think if they can, which kind of tonight, there was some ball movement. There, you saw the ball kind of move around. You saw it like, you know, there
were moments.
They were trying
To me, it's
share
the
the ball.
It's the kind of intensity that they take. You know, if you make a pass with conviction,
right?
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
It's not. It's about conviction, and if you catch the ball and you make a play, you make a move. It's not about
it's
how many passes. It's about how much value does that pass carry with it.
You're right, and it's kind of what we talked about the other day. It's not necessarily like when I get the ball, I think that I have to score.
Right.
It's that when I get the ball, I'm going to make the best play for us to score.
Plus, and additionally, you attack the weakness on the defense, and by virtue of doing that in itself, you're going to create opportunities for the rest of your team.
Agreed.
Next, which is more worrisome in the long run? Patrick Patterson's overall struggles or Alex Abrinas's shooting struggles?
I'm going to go Pat. I think Alex is going to get it at some point. It's just kind of a shooting slump, it feels like, and people go through those.
Right.
Like that doesn't sound good.
That's not what it should be doing.
Oh, there we go.
It was remix.
But so what I'm saying is, you know that Alex can shoot. You know that he can. He's doing the other things properly, and which has been impressive this year. For me, Patrick Patterson hasn't been very impressive this year.
Yeah.
He hasn't lived up to what we thought he would be.
Right.
And maybe it's the training camp short, like he wasn't in training camp at all. And he's more so than anybody trying to get used to this team. But I'm also kind of starting to worry about the fit. Like, does he make sense?
It's funny. I think I might go the other way here.
Interesting.
I think it's mostly because how long Patterson's been in the league. And so I trust him to figure out what he needs to do to be effective as time goes on. I might be off here, though. And so that's what I'm worried about. Abrinas, you know, is he too young here? Is he too young for...
I'm going to go ahead and kill this because it just is creepy.
Yeah.
My counterpoint to you on that with the Patterson thing is that I feel like before he got to the Raptors, he wasn't very good. Right? Like,
I don't know.
I never really saw him with a team that I was like, I'm excited about this guy.
He was with Houston before that, I believe.
And he was okay, but I was never excited about him until he got with the Raptors and he was with a certain system that seemed to work for him. And so I guess that's my frustration, like kind of showing through.
I got you. Next, Westbrook's low efficiency or the team's rebounding struggles?
Rebounding for sure.
Yeah.
That's not even really that
So you
much.
think Russ gets it together?
Like Russ has obviously been improving in the last couple weeks. And like his free throw percentage is coming back up. His finishing at the rim tonight was fucking incredible.
He used his steps wisely, I thought,
Yeah.
tonight, which is
It's a very good
interesting
point.
to say. But like I thought that he didn't rush anything. He was patient.
That's something he hasn't done this season. He's had trouble finishing at the rim. He hasn't got. It seems like what you're kind of saying is like he hasn't really gotten off on the right foot when he's driving to finish properly. Like he's kind of just been like, ugh.
He's been predictable.
Yeah, and everybody knows what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And tonight it was a different feel.
Right.
And so that's why I think it's definitely not that.
All right, next. Which is more worrisome in the long run? The Thunder's offensive spacing issues that Robertson creates, or, this goes back to what we were talking about,
Throwing that at me.
the depth of the bench.
I'm going to go depth.
Yeah.
I really do think that it's weird because you kind of feel comfortable with this bench because it feels like a better bench than we had last year for sure.
I don't know. I don't
To
know
me,
about
it's
that.
like you have a point guard.
I think
that's
that's
nice.
That's it though. That's
Right.
That's the upgrade. And then you can talk about the development of Jeremy Grant.
He's been a lot better this year. You've got Patrick Patterson, who should be better. You've got Abrinas,
And
who
he's not.
should be good,
He hasn't been though.
who he hasn't. But that's what I'm saying. Is like almost in counterpoint.
I think
to
you can
what
make an argument right now that Abrinas was better last year than he's been this year.
100%.
Yeah.
Although only at shooting. Like if you look at his all-around game,
I'd agree with that.
way better this year.
Sure.
Right? So that's what I'm kind of saying is I think the shooting will come for him. I think Pat will get there somewhere. But I don't know. It's still like after that, you've got Hustis, who I don't feel super comfortable with offensively. He's kind of like a second Robertson on your team, which is not good.
He can shoot better, but
Can he though?
when you see like a game against a great team like tonight that
struggles.
has their stuff together defensively, he did not look comfortable.
Yeah, when someone's closing out on him, he's like, oh, I can't even catch.
Right. All right, last one, then we're going to get some of these people's questions. The Thunder's, which is more worrisome for the long run? The Thunder's inability to beat Golden State, which has been nixed now, or the Thunder blowing leads?
It's the Thunder blowing leads.
Ah!
Which, to that point, I don't think that this one game says that they're obviously not better than Golden
They're
State.
winning the championship. I mean, it's done. It's a done deal. Just shut the season down.
Just turn it off.
They beat them.
They got it.
It's over.
Let's
at
start
home,
the parade
They beat them
tomorrow.
at home.
Right. Yeah.
Just playing out of their minds
Yeah.
at times.
No, and they couldn't hit shots. But anyways,
Yeah.
I think this is obviously Golden State is better than us, clearly.
Well, no, we just beat them. Clearly. What are you
I
talking about?
can't get this point out. Like,
No.
no.
I will not let it happen.
Pretty sure that we
I will-
win every time.
Close the gates on that quickly.
What was the other option?
Or the Thunder blowing leads.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. I think that.
Do you think this solved it tonight?
So let's alter the question. You know, instead of the inability to beat Golden State, let's say the worry of matching up with Golden State in any round prior to the Western Conference Finals, which the Thunder have gotten themselves off to a poor start. Right.
Yep.
So they have a lot of work to do if they want to get to that 2 or 3 seed, which most people think that they need to get to because most people believe that Golden State is going to grab that 1 seed. Now, Houston's having a great regular season so far.
They shoot all the threes.
Perhaps Golden State is at that point where they get a little bored and they drop, 1 or 2 extra games.
I mean, they haven't had the season they hoped to so far.
No, they haven't. They've lost 5 games already.
But we're like 20 games in, so
Sure.
Who cares?
And, I think they're a type of team now that home court really isn't that important to them anymore.
They don't care about that.
I mean, obviously it's an added bonus, but I don't think it's...
But they're like, their bench is so... That's when we talk about our bench versus their bench, it's like, God damn, their bench is so solid. Mm-hmm. We talked about that when they brought their bench in the fourth quarter.
Livingston,
like, this is an actual
Iguodala.
problem. You can pull the pop and be like, hey, bench, go win the game.
Yeah.
And they'll do it sometimes.
Or just go try to make a run. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go.
but they'll pull the game out sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
they can do that.
Yeah. You're right.
And that's something our bench definitely I don't feel at all confident in. But I don't know. I think us blowing leads, hopefully this is kind of a turning point like we talked about before. Hopefully this is, I remember at halftime me saying, hey, we just put together 2 very solid quarters. That's very strange.
Yeah.
Up until this point, this entire season,
And then 3. And then 3 solid quarters.
solid quarters.
Yeah. I mean,
Fourth quarter, not so much.
So to recap it, Thunder 33-26 in the first quarter, 32-22 in the second quarter, 29-23 in the third quarter, and then the Thunder only score 14 in the fourth, which is
Did
only
we hold Golden State to 48 points and a half?
48 points in the first half, 43 in the second half.
That's pretty sweet. I know they were at their largest deficit in the third quarter this season.
Biggest plus minuses on each side. Russell Westbrook was a plus 17. And on the other side, Andre Iguodala was a minus 21.
That's nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Carmelo was a plus 16, mostly because he played with Russell Westbrook the entire game. Robertson,
and he got some bailout calls
Robertson,
on his dumbass offense.
Yeah, he did. Robertson was a plus 14. Josh Hughes, who haven't really said good things about. I mean, he was okay, but he was a plus 10 tonight. So
Yeah. I mean, he was a positive.
All right, let's read some of these questions.
Let's do it.
All right. Boomtown asks, this is the first game I haven't watched all year. Am I a curse to OKC basketball? Should I stop watching?
Absolutely,
That's-
100%.
Yeah, stop it.
Never again should you watch
watching.
games.
Why would this be the game you miss? What's wrong with
Also,
you?
very great question and rebuttal to him. Like,
What? Like how? I don't care if it's
Or you might be legally retarded.
I don't care if it's grandma's funeral.
yeah,
It'd be weird if she was having it at night on a Wednesday. But
just
still.
a 9 o'clock funeral. No big deal.
All right, the Thunder Report says, have we finally seen the full 48-minute potential of this team?
Absolutely not. We only saw 3/4 of this team.
Oh, boom.
There's better yet to come.
But let's actually look at that question. So let's say, have we seen what this team can do when they put a whole game together? And they did put a whole game together.
I'm emotion of that first half, the emotion of that third quarter, when Russ and Katie are butting heads, like that's a hard thing to maintain for 48 minutes. I get it.
Yeah.
But I do think we've absolutely seen progress, right?
Yeah.
This was a huge step forward. And it is one game.
No doubt. I like they literally couldn't have taken a bigger step forward
Yeah.
than they did tonight, right?
Everyone thought they were going to lose this game, and they came out and made a statement on national television,
Yeah.
which they're not very good at doing. in the
Friday they have
past.
the Pistons coming in. Pistons haven't been terrible this year. They've actually been playing pretty well.
You chalking that up to a loss already?
No. It's at home. Thunder are 6-2 at home.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm?
They are good at home.
All right, Jared White or Gerard White. I still
Gerard.
don't know.
It's
Is
Gerard.
Is it Gerard?
I don't really know, but I'm saying it.
Okay. Should we fire Billy? I mean, obviously.
Holy fucking
No,
shit.
hold on. Let him finish. Jeez. I mean, we obviously only won because our stars went off. He put the eyes rolling emoji.
Nice.
Evan McDaniel asks, do you think KD will use 250 characters tweeting that he is over OKC again? Yeah. This guy.
I like that question.
It's so like, you know what drives me crazy? What grinds my gears is it's when national media has his back.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, it is.
That's it.
Why I don't
Why
understand
do
that.
they?
He is the one talking. Thunder fan base is we've basically let this go. I mean, obviously there's still a
There's
little
the
bit.
booze.
You know, it wasn't that crazy.
It wasn't that crazy.
It wasn't even any worse than Raymond Felton got in Utah. Honestly. Wait, Utah? That's the wrong.
mean
Portland.
in
Portland,
a-
sorry. Portland. In Portland.
okay.
Raymond Felton in Portland. My bad. But yeah, it really wasn't any worse than that.
Wasn't that bad?
So like they're perpetuating this. He's perpetuating this.
It's him. It's all him.
It is. And then he goes, I don't know when they're going to get over it. Surely one day. You're like, dude, how are you not looking in the mirror on this?
Everyone knows that is wrong. And
don't
he just had the Bleacher Report thing we talked about already. I'm so tired of this guy.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of him.
It felt really good to beat him tonight.
It felt great.
Yeah.
It felt great.
I hope he cries himself to sleep.
It felt great to me.
Hope he's watching right now.
That
He
Russ
heard me say
just
that.
like ruled this game.
They had
and he wasn't even close statistically to Russ.
Yeah.
What
Stats.
stats matter?
No.
But
there was a few moments tonight where they got matched up on each other.
yeah,
That was
and
fun.
Russ kind of took him to town a little bit.
I don't know about that.
Shh. Go with my
Shush
my
me.
story.
Well, Katie had the fadeaway over Russ. But I mean, it's not fair. He's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah,
That's
Russ is like a
that's
munchkin to
decided.
him.
It's not fair. All right, Zach Weber, 33.
Has a 33 in his name.
The Thunder bench got outscored 31-12. Is this still a big concern moving forward? Yeah, we've been talking about it. I think it is. I really, really think it is. One guy gets hurt. One guy. Jeremy Grant gets hurt. Think about if Jeremy Grant gets hurt right now. That's a little scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's frightening.
Where do you go?
Terrence
Terrence Ferguson.
Farr.
No, I don't think it's too crazy to think that Presti is working the phones already this season. I mean,
So I actually was like, I wasn't really thinking that the Thunder were going to make a trade this year. Just what we talked about before. It's like, who do you trade? Really, the only person that seems logical to me is Robertson, and I really don't want to trade Robertson. I feel like you don't know what PG is going to do. You've got a lockdown defender.
Right.
With PG, he's you have an incredible defense there with those two.
But don't you think the goal here
Is to win.
it's to win,
Yeah.
sure, but also alternate goal, secondary goal, to make it such an impression to
That
Paul
PG
George
has to stay.
that he wants to stay.
It's
So-
almost
so you-
to where you make it not a question where he's like, no, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm staying.
Right. I mean, that's where it gets hard. Sam Presti's job is actually super hard right now.
Yeah.
It's harder than it's ever been, which is crazy to say.
He keeps putting himself in these positions.
Yeah.
As
You got to
an amazing-
respect it.
as
You
an
got to
amazing
respect
wizard.
it. I
But-
mean, he put himself in this position by denying or not picking up Josh Eustace's option.
He also saved like $10 million.
He picked up Grant's option, which makes him unrestricted next
Yep.
year. He's made a lot of bold moves here. He really
Yeah.
has.
I mean, he's gone all in this year. He's obviously a shoe-in for exec of the year.
So
We've
that's
talked about.
that's what I'm saying. But, well, not if they go 41,
Shush.
41. You know what I mean?
I have
But
to keep
I don't
shushing
think
you
they
on
will.
this
I don't think they will.
Yeah, that's not.
But yeah, I mean, if you go all in at the beginning, you can't just change that in the middle,
No,
right?
You got to keep going.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the bench is a concern.
Well,
I think that
when
they
we-
need one player. They need that veteran player that they can trust to score.
Yeah.
They need someone that can score.
Almost like if Melo was to go to them and say, like, bring me off the bench, P.
It's funny how
Hey,
it
Pete.
always leads back there, though.
Yeah.
Because you're right, man. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So my point before was that, like, I didn't really expect this team to make a trade, and I was listening to the Low Post with Zach Lowe. Jeff Van Gundy was on the pod yesterday, and he said that this team is almost a lock to make a deal at the deadline,
Yeah.
which kind of like I was like, I didn't really expect.
Well,
that.
number one, it's Presti.
Yeah,
He always does something.
he does
He always
make
does
some
something.
move, even if it's like, here's our second round pick
Right.
for 2084
Yeah.
for
cash.
just
You're like,
cash
what?
consideration.
He was just a little broke that day.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Cody Mullins. I have to ask what everyone else is wondering. When will Hair Collison brand come into existence?
Soon.
Is he
At
talking
retirement, he's gonna make a
what,
gel
Well, I feel like he would make like hiking backpacks.
and just is he gonna call him hair Collison back?
It'll have like a comb on it. Boom, Hair Collison. You know, like board shorts.
Yeah.
They have like the surfboard scrapers or whatever the fuck they're called, and like they're just like attached bungee style on the shorts. You do that with a backpack. Hair Collison. You just a quick comb.
That's a
Boom.
comb.
You're hiking. Like, why are you combing your
What
hair,
if
Brad?
What if the comb had some gel in it?
Oh, it like.
Should we go on Shark Tank tomorrow?
you
I
press,
feel like this is a new gadget.
you press a button. It's a
Yeah.
little LA
There it
looks.
is. And it's definitely LA looks.
It's the
That's
cheapest.
what makes it good.
It has
All
to be
right.
a certain kind.
We have a YouTube question from the doctor,
Oh.
Robert Larson.
All right.
First time, long time, he says. Jenny's charcoal boiler, first time.
Yeah.
Of all the awesome plays tonight, why is Katie such a terrible person?
I don't have an explanation.
He
Maybe it was
just
his
is.
upbringing. Maybe
Oh.
it was the people that he surrounded himself with
It's Wanda's fault.
during his growth in his 20s. I don't know.
You blame it on Wanda.
No, I didn't blame
Strong
it. I said
move.
maybe.
Strong move.
Said maybe.
He is a terrible person though, and he should get over it.
Yeah, I'm not into him as a person.
Let's just no more KD talk.
Yeah, we really shouldn't be giving this guy publicity. Okay, Dan C asks, "Can we put down that? Wait, can we put down that win to Russ's jacket tonight? Because I'm going to put down that win entirely to Russ's jacket. Also, does that kind of suffocating defense? He he he. Well, he said suffocating D. He he he. Which is funny.
I
Shi-
really like the he.
And then he says, does that kind of suffocating defense show why Dre shouldn't be traded?
I think so.
This is a hard.
I think that I am the biggest proponent for Dre
Yeah.
on the pod for sure.
Man,
Like,
I
I know that you
feel
like him.
I have to keep qualifying that I have nothing.
I know that you
against
don't
him,
hate him.
You know.
You're not a Dre hater for sure, but I mean your point makes sense. The move Dre thing makes sense. However, I keep coming back to when you watch him play defense, it's some of the most amazing defense
Mm-hmm.
I've seen in my life.
And to your point, if this team stays healthy, and you have
It's
the big
not
three,
really a problem at that
this
point.
team can, these big three, they can score.
They can make up for his deficiencies, and then
Yeah, in the playoffs. You're talking
Yeah.
when you're talking playoffs, you need those guys that can D up,
Well,
that are going to be locked in 100% of the time.
and he is
Yep.
always, and he doesn't. Like you've mentioned this before, he doesn't really foul that much.
Yeah,
He had 4 tonight. Most of them were bullshit.
and Golden State's gonna draw fouls. They're
Yeah,
a great
of
team.
course.
They're a great team, so it's
But
gonna happen.
but also tonight, he showed that he can be utilized on offense, even in small little pockets. He's at least not an absolute zero
Yeah.
when you need him to be
Right.
something.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's hard. This is hard. It's going to be a hard fence to figure out which side you want to drop off
Yeah.
onto. All right, Ben,
Just been
how fucking awesome was this win? Awesome, Ben. It was so
fucking
good,
awesome.
Ben. We were screaming, Ben. We were so thrilled. I was so pumped afterwards. It felt good, right? It felt so good. The Thunder and its fans really needed this win. Jared Lawson, if Durant called Russ a pussy, what does that make him? Very good. Very good, Jared Lawson. Moylan's pineapple. I don't know what that means. We are now 9-10. Can we go 72-10? We're not 9-10. We're 8-9.
Well, that disqualifies the question, I think.
Next, Moylan's pineapple again is.
He said, "Well, since that was
Yeah,
disqualified,
he was like, that question wasn't good. I'll ask another. Is PG-13 a legit chance of Defensive Player of the Year? Yeah, I think he is.
I think he really is."
I really do.
Honestly, that's a great question because before this year, say in the offseason, I was like, yeah, I mean, he's a really good defender, but he's not. I don't think he's ever been really in that conversation that much, right? Like everyone knows he's really good defensively. He's made an all-defensive team, but he's not been like so elite.
And he hasn't been on a. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but I don't believe that he's been on a team that's just been elite defensively, like this team has the chance to be. They just held, like we said, the best offensive team in the league over the last however many years to an 89.5 offensive rating.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's insane.
It's good stuff, man.
The Dr. Robert Larson just chimed in
Why
again.
isn't he here? If he has time to
Yeah, I
ask
don't
us
know.
questions.
No one knows. But he asked if we saw Ennis Cantor's tweet, Quanter. And I did look at his tweet, and it says, "Hell yeah, hashtag Thunder up.
Nuh-uh.
Proud of my boys."
No way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck yeah, Ennis.
That is so amazing.
You know,
Hey,
we actually achieved his goal. He told us
Yeah.
to beat Golden State, and we did it.
You think
I
he
say
meant
we
regular
like
season?
I was involved in it.
You think he meant regular season when he
Of course
said
he
that?
did. This one game is what he meant.
That is funny though. Man,
I love Ennis, man.
Ennis is an awesome person.
He really is. He's a great dude.
It's funny because we've had Knicks people in our mentions like, "Oh, you guys lost this trade."
Yeah.
It's like it's early, man. You'll just see when you can't
Yeah.
play Ennis versus anyone good. Like, sorry.
Just wait till y'all play the Rockets.
Yeah,
and
just
you're
wait
like, huh?
till you play anyone in the playoffs.
You can't run backwards?
It's how it's gonna be. All right, Michael Cage headphone skin asks. That is so amazing.
That guy deserves a shirt for his Twitter handle.
He does. Send us your shirt size and all of your information, and we'll show up at
Pretty
your house.
much your social security number,
Yeah.
all the things.
He says, "Was this game as close to perfection, or can we still make improvements and be better?" Also, fuck KD.
Ha. I agree with his last point.
I definitely think there's always room for improvement.
Of course.
I don't think the Warriors were on their A game,
They weren't.
but I think the Thunder were super hyped for this game. They were
They
ready
were.
to play, and that's what you want to see from this team going forward. You want to see them. You want to see them
would-
take their opponents seriously.
Right. And on that point, it would be really nice for them to start showing up for the games that you know they should win. Right? It would be nice for them to show up like they did for this game for a game against the Kings.
Yeah.
It would be nice for them to show up against
And
the Sixers
and the
or
thing
something
is,
like that.
even on those games, you don't have to show up completely how you showed up for this game. You
Yeah.
don't have to play Melo 36 minutes, Paul George 40.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just
so
have
it just
that
takes,
that intensity is what I
Yes,
mean. Like
right.
the focus that they had.
Yep.
Bring that every time. That's the improvement, right?
That's exactly what they need.
Yeah.
They need to just take their opponent seriously. And I mean, you got the Pistons on Friday, Saturday on a second night of back-to-back. You got to go down to Dallas, who's terrible. You have a good.
That's a game you don't want to give up, though, especially right now.
Sure. Wait, are you talking about Dallas?
Yeah,
Well, duh. I mean, if you lose to
But
Dallas,
that's-
it's an awful loss.
but that's something they've been doing this season.
But you have an opportunity to get above 500 here.
Yeah, which
that-
they desperately need to do at this point.
And one thing we haven't even mentioned is that Pelicans game where DeMarcus Cousins gets ejected and the Thunder blow it. It's going to take some time, and I think that if you understand these guys as competitors, Russell Westbrook in particular,
Yeah,
this guy's been there. He's won. He hasn't won it all, but he's won a lot of games. He's won a lot of playoff games.
he's won a lot more games than most people have ever won games.
Yes. So you think this guy's just going to be cool with going 500?
Right.
Ain't happening, man.
That's
Ain't happening.
That's why I think I have so much hope for this team. And you see people everywhere being like, well, this team is just not what you hoped it would be, and it's terrible, and it's time to shut it down and trade someone here and fire Billy and do
Right.
this. And it's like, Russell Westbrook, for one, I know is not okay with this.
Yeah.
Paul George, I'm pretty sure, is not okay with this. Melo, maybe okay with this, but probably not.
He's just fine with
He's
it.
like,
It's cool.
I mean, this is pretty much,
Par for the course.
this is how things work. I get my shots. But but no, I think all three of those guys are ultra competitive. Melo clearly wants to win right now.
Yeah.
If he didn't want to win, he would have taken a trade to anywhere and
Sure.
just gotten out of
You're
New
right.
York.
Good point.
Like, he clearly had a couple teams in mind. He wants to win right now. These guys are ready to do this. It just takes time.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely takes time. And it takes everyone. It's not just the big three. It takes everyone.
And I know it's only a game. We've said that multiple times this podcast. But this is a huge step in the right direction. It really is.
It's the biggest possible step you can make with one game.
Yeah. You couldn't have made a bigger statement with any
Unless
other
maybe
game.
it was on the road. That's it.
Yeah.
That'd be the bigger one. But it was perfect timing, right?
Agreed.
Honestly, perfect timing. You have the best team in the league that 99.9% of people would agree with coming to town. Your home court, one of the best home courts in the league, if not the best. This is your chance, man.
Yeah.
Take care of business. And they did.
They did.
Right?
It was beautiful. The whole game was
It
beautiful.
I mean, we're going to live in bliss the rest of the night.
Probably about to watch it again.
Thanksgiving, I'm just going to eat so much and just be
watch
so
it.
pumped about it.
Are you going to watch this like 12 times tomorrow?
Oh, I'm not even paying attention
Just
to
put
family.
it on loop.
Yeah.
Just like, shut up, Grandpa.
Watch this part.
Hey, you
I
remember
just keep
with that Euro
rewinding it.
step? That just Euro step?
There were so
Again.
many on that though. There were so many moments in this game.
They
Like,
were.
I think I've been hesitant to use the term playoff intensity because it feels like it's coming from my perspective, your perspective, our perspective as Thunder fans, because they won the game. Whereas a Golden State fan would be like, playoff intensity, really? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But from the Thunder side, it felt like they were playing with that type of intensity. You saw the Jeremy Grant blocks, 2 of them. You saw
Beautiful.
you saw the big threes. Paul George hit a few big threes, man.
He really did.
He can really shoot the ball.
Like, there was a couple times where the Thunder were in a drought. And he just kind of stepped up to the plate and
Yep.
said, I'm going to bring you guys with me. Like,
You're right.
We're not done.
couple big Westbrook dunks, big plays in general that he would make. That
Probably
would,
two of the biggest dunks this year.
Yeah, he would get the crowd going, and it was just one of those games. Like, you could tell how much this game meant to them.
Yeah.
And it was one of those games that, I don't think that Melo was really that involved necessarily. He was kind of.
But he's like we said earlier, it was the perfect
Yes.
role for him. It's the perfect.
It was, and to that point, I think it's one of those things where going forward, Melo's like, this is it. Like, this is it. This is what I'm here for.
And that's what I kind of mean about the huge step forward. It's not only that they beat the Warriors, which is a big thing to them. It's also a huge step forward in them figuring out that identity that they've been missing this
Yeah.
whole year. It's a
you
huge
gain
step.
that confidence, right, by
Yeah.
beating that team.
Yeah, and it's a huge step in them figuring out, okay, well, Russ, when you play like this, it allows us to play this way, and it kind of works out. And Melo, hey, whenever you kind of take that role that you just took, look at how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at how when you're trailing,
Yeah.
and you kind of just pop up out of nowhere and hit a three.
Which every time you see those Melo quotes from the preseason, though, where he talks about going to coach, going to Billy Donovan, saying, hey, whatever system you're putting in place, that's fine with me. It makes you feel a little bit better. You're like, okay. Like, honestly, when I look at the season as a whole, I have no blame for Melo. I have no
Yeah.
blame. I think he's done a pretty good job.
He has.
I really do. I think that
Like, there's been times he's been a dumbass, but
I think that he, just as the team as a whole, has some growing to do, some learning to do as to what his place on this team exactly is. But that's the
Agreed.
entire team. So, I mean, he's allowed that slack. Give him a little slack. He's not going to be perfect.
yeah.
He's been playing a certain way his entire career. Give him a chance.
Yeah, and
So-
especially for like the last 9 years, he's been exactly
I
one person.
And I want all these Knicks fans to come at us and be like, look, you got Melo now, huh? And then
and
I
the
want
Pacers fans being like, "Ooh,
Right.
look
And-
how much better Oladipo is." It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but
we'll see.
just wait,
We'll see.
just wait.
We'll see. Yeah, that's you're exactly right. That's what I want. I want to just really I should go through our mentions and just save these tweets that we're having.
And then we just bring them back in April.
yeah.
Remember when we told you just wait
How
and see?
about that?
Don't do that.
Quit doing that. Stop it. It's time to sign off. Are we done here?
We are done here.
All right. Hey, thanks for listening.
We
Thanks
beat the fucking Warriors.
Thanks for tuning in. If you watch us live on YouTube, if you didn't, you can watch it on YouTube. It's kind of cool. We kind of got a little cool set here. It was a lot of fun. We set up. We'll try to do this more often, actually. So subscribe on YouTube. What are we? OKC Thunderheads,
Yes,
as we
sir.
are on everything. Follow us on Twitter at OKC Thunderheads. Find us on Facebook, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, Overcast, everything. OKCThunderheads.com. We will be back on Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday early Sun. Well, afternoon. We'll drop a pod on the
Noonish.
afternoon. So between now and then, it'll be the Pistons and the Mavs. Hopefully, we got 2 wins coming your way. So we will catch you guys then. Until then, Thunder up.